Hey, big guy, how you doing today? If you're watching videos like this, you're likely not an absolute NPC who's letting his life slip him by. Maybe you're in the gym, doing no-fap, meditating, eating clean, or the 12 other things that we're supposed to be doing on self-improvement. Anyways, I'll get into the video. Like yourself, I've had my ups and downs on this journey. You reach a point in life where, things feel off, you feel off, something's just not right. You relapse or you get back into your bad habit, you cheat on your diet, and you get down like with terrible mental health. It's quite the rut to run into when like the whole train of your entire self-improvement process just comes to a screeching halt and you crash and you do like, I don't know, three porn sessions in a day, or you spend like $50 on pizza or something. It's really frustrating when, despite the fact that you genuinely are putting in a lot of effort, you feel stuck. You have like little to no progress to show for it. You've watched countless videos, gorged countless amounts of information, but you just can't quite seem to budge forward. The first thing to remember is like you have taken action and you are sacrificing for it. So something else here isn't working. And like I said in the video title, I'm gonna lay out three major mistakes that I've been making that seem to be quite common in the self-improvement community. The first thing though, you do have to be honest with yourself. Are you actually taking self-improvement seriously, or are you just mentally masturbating? Are you just watching countless videos? Because if you're just watching countless videos, there's no point in even watching this one. The first mistake, and I made this myself when I started out addicted to YouTube videos, but you have way too many distractions. You've got like 12, 15 different things going on, and you're trying to get them all done and getting nowhere as a result of it. There isn't really too much of a point in this. If you spend all of your time just gorging information, that's what you've spent your time doing. You haven't actually spent your time improving on anything. And by no means am I saying that learning is an issue, but it is an issue if all you do is learn because then you never actually implement. You never actually apply yourself. You never actually try new things and fail and suck and get better at them. Honestly, what I found is you have to backtrack that like so far. Go to like 1 to 5 interests. Five might even be a bit much, but pick like a handful of interests and just focus on those. Make one of your interests like the biggest goal you have and make that the primary focus where everything else takes the back seat. Because for what it's worth, like human beings generally, we don't excel in much more than one major goal in our lives anyways. It sort of seems in a weird way like a utility belt where everyone specializes in something, but no one specializes in everything. The second mistake, are you thinking long term? Are you delaying gratification? Are you are you picking the second marshmallow? Are you thinking about success, or are you just thinking about right now? Because good things take a good amount of time to build. If you constantly gorge on instantly satisfying activities or consuming instant satisfaction type based food, you're not going to get anywhere and you're going to feel like crap the entire time. You'll be really frustrated and you're going to get fed up with self-improvement, forgetting that you making these mistakes is the actual issue. Something else to keep in mind, are you focused on things like the end of this week, the end of this month, maybe the end of the season? I surely hope your life isn't ending at that point, man, because you got the rest of your life to live. You shouldn't just be thinking about next week. Now, if you have some small goals for next week, that's fine. But thinking long term is what's really the name of the game of self-improvement. You're trying to build success in your life. You're not trying to just get to day 30 of no fap or something. There's so much more to it than that. When you focus on the days instead of make the days count, you don't really do much except build tension with your identity. And I'll get to that later in the video. You should take some time to develop something I call ambitious patience. And ambitious patience is the ability to control yourself with a sense of urgency every day towards your goals. So you could talk about things like discipline, self-control, like I just mentioned. But what I'm talking about here is you need to have a sense of urgency to take action and be willing to wait. You need to be willing to just do the things required and not have a payout. So for example, with weightlifting or fitness, you obviously don't lift weights for even 8 hours in one day and tomorrow you have a six pack. You need to do it for, I don't know, an hour, hour and a half, 4 to 6 days a week for the next 3 years. You need to be consistent about this. Another example of this is like a university degree. You don't go through your first, what do you call it? You don't go through your first week of courses, like getting familiar with all the stuff, and then take your final exams in the first 2 months. That would be absolutely ludicrous. You need to spend the time to study. You need to put in the hours. You need to do things that you want to do. The final thing that I have for you is when you're trying to change all of the outputs in your life, like your habits, your results, and so on, but you don't actually change who you are as a person, you don't change your identity. Identity shift is really big on self-improvement. And I don't know, like I don't look too much on YouTube anymore because I don't do social media. I just don't like it. It's not what I want to look back on when I'm older. But identity shift, I don't know how big it is in the self-improvement community, but it's a very big deal. So imagine you got a rubber band, right? Here is your identity, and here is your habits, your outputs, whatever, right? So the rubber band starts out here. I would just grab a rubber band, but I don't have one, I don't think. Anyways, so here's your here's your rubber band, right? Here's your identity, here's your habits. When you're constantly trying to change, you see that? All that happens is you just snap back to who you are. You need to change this, not your habits. You need to change the way you view yourself because wherever this goes, this follows. So if you go over here, it goes over here. Say bodybuilder, scientist, doctor, athlete, YouTube consumer. You need to change your identity, man. If you're constantly in this impression of life where you're swimming upstream, this is a big part of the reason why. You're constantly going against the grain of who you are as a person. Your identity doesn't align with your goals. The things you got to ask yourself towards your goals is, I'll just use X as an example because I don't know what your particular goals are, but what are the things that X would do in times of temptation? So for example, you're tempted to cheat on your diet, right? But you're being a bodybuilder. What would a bodybuilder do? Where does a bodybuilder hang out? What sorts of people does a bodybuilder hang out with? These sorts of things where you create your environment and structure and evidence of the identity you're trying to shape is what will shift your identity. There's other things like affirmations and daily habits and so forth. But the main focus for you when it comes to shifting identity is change your environment. Anyways, man, I hope that helps. I hope you're feeling motivated. I hope you learned something. And until next time, dude, take care.